Welcome to episode 164 of the Fully In It podcast. Does your mind ever entertain ideas like, if only I had this situation or that, then my life and my business would be so much better? In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing about the if only mindset, how to recognize it's happening, how to shift it, and why this matters to your quality of life and your experience of your business. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Fully In It podcast with Kate Saffel, a show for powerful moms growing life-changing businesses while showing up intentionally for their families. I teach you how to create a family-first and profitable business in less time by leveraging simple strategy, mom life-friendly systems, and above all, the mindset of going fully in it. You ready? So you're going to have to forgive me because my voice is still not 100% after being sick. I was sick for over a week. And really, that's what inspired this episode because I have been in a prep period for my upcoming launch for Expand Mentoring membership. And I always plan ahead for my launches. I'm always thinking of the best case scenario, and inevitably things go wrong, as they often do for us mamas in business. The babysitter canceled multiple times for random reasons. I had to cancel the babysitter because we all got sick, the entire family, and it was one of those cases where, instead of everybody being sick at the same time, it was one person at a time. And so this illness really dragged out in our family, and I myself was incredibly sick. Like I was in bed for a good 3 days with a fever and, unable to really do much of anything. And because of that, I pushed back my free 7-day Back in Business challenge that is coming up as of time of recording. It's coming up next week on Monday the 9th. And I pushed it back. We were originally going to start on the 2nd, but because I was sick, I just thought there's no way I can pull it off. And I'm so grateful that I listened to myself, that I gave myself that extra week and the rest and recovery time that I needed. And just FYI, you can do that too. If you are ever going into a launch or you have set dates really for anything, if you're anything like me, I know I hate changing dates. Once I've put it on the calendar, I want it to stay there, but that's not life. Sometimes life happens. And so give yourself permission to push things back if it is necessary. And then finally, I was supposed to be away on a girls' trip with my mom. Look, right now, we were going to be going away for 4 days. And unfortunately, we made the decision to cancel the trip because, again, it was just cutting it too close with being sick. And I thought, even if I am well and the whole family is well, how much will I enjoy it if I am coming off of an illness and, just all these other things going on. So we did reschedule it. So no worries. We are going to be going on our trip still, just not when I thought we would be. So there were a few times, especially over the last week, where my brain went to this place of, if only, right? Like, if only we hadn't gotten sick, or if only the babysitter could have come every single time, then my prep period for my launch would have been so much smoother, easier, calmer. Surely my life would have been better, right? Nobody wants to get sick. And nobody wants to deal with when the babysitter cancels, trying to figure out how to meet your work obligations. And I totally understand if you ever have those if only kind of thoughts. I'm going to offer you a powerful shift here in a moment that I gave myself when my brain went to entertaining if only thoughts. But for now, let's identify what these actually look like so that you can catch them in reality when they are happening. So here is how you know it is if only thinking. Well, one, you may say the words to yourself, if only I had this. If only it went like this, right? And I'm sure you have thought those kind of thoughts before. If only thinking is when we are judging our current circumstances based on how you think things should be going. So it may include comparison to other people and their circumstances, right? Like, oh, well, she doesn't have to deal with this. Well, her launch looks like it went perfectly, right? We can look at people's highlight reel on social media and then we assume that that is their entire life experience. And I'm telling you right now, as someone who has been in the online game for a decade now, people do not share the full picture. They just don't. And that's also why, I say this on this podcast quite a bit. That is why I am so committed to being honest with you and sharing the ups and downs of being a mom entrepreneur. Now listen, it can feel harmless to entertain if only thinking, except that it does this one thing, and you need to be aware of this. It takes you out of present moment, and it shifts you into ingratitude for your current life circumstances. And you may be thinking, but Kate, I don't feel grateful for these current hard circumstances. Why would I feel grateful for them? Why wouldn't I want to feel something else? I totally understand. Let me explain. There is a difference between recognizing your current circumstances are a wake-up call and you are going to proactively do something about them. For example, you realize the grocery budget isn't getting you very far these days. Don't we just all love going to the grocery store? Isn't it so much fun? I don't know how it is by you, but prices just, oh my goodness, over the last couple years, they just have gone nuts here. And it's a different grocery shopping experience than it was. Okay, I'm going to go on a total side tangent. So I remember when Kirk and I were newlyweds, and this would have been like 2007, 2008, 2009, we would go to the grocery store and we would spend about, I would say maybe $300 to $400 a month on groceries for the two of us. Now, at the time, I remember doing our budget and just thinking, oh my gosh, we are spending way too much on food. And this was because we were eating the paleo diet back then. I mean, we still kind of do eat that way, but we had just recently heard of it. It was like a brand new thing. And I had some health issues that I was trying to heal. So we're talking like the best of the best. We ate steak probably at least twice a week. We had all the freshest vegetables and fruit and all the things, supplements, all of that, right? And so I would read like these food budgeting websites and they would say like, you should only be spending $150 a month for two people. Okay. Right? And now I look at what I spend in a week, or how even like sometimes one grocery shopping trip is like $400 when you've got a family of 5. And I'm like, oh my goodness, things have really changed. So if you're feeling that, right? Like going back to our example of you realizing maybe the grocery budget isn't getting you very far. And you think to yourself, if only we had double the amount to spend. Now, what you could do is you can get to work growing your business and you create the amount of money you need, right? Instead of kind of like wallowing in it, you're just like, you know what, I'm going to figure this out. That is being proactive and using that if only thinking to benefit you and your family. Versus seeing that you just don't like the circumstance. You don't like that you go to the grocery store and your money's not going as far, but you feel a victim to it. And you're like, oh, well, it's the government's fault. It's the grocery store's fault. It's everybody else's fault except mine. I shouldn't have to pay this. But this doesn't make it better when you focus on that way of thinking. And instead, it just makes you feel bad about your situation. You are the only one who feels bad about it. And it's hard to create anything good from feeling bad, right? Because those two emotional states are on opposite ends of the spectrum. Now, here's the shift that's available that I mentioned at the beginning of this episode. Your brain wants to believe that your current circumstances that you are trying to, if only, away, sees them as a problem. But what if they are actually part of your story? What if by struggling through this, whatever it is, the challenge that you're facing, you learn a new way of doing things? What if you come out on the other side so much stronger? or more empathetic to other people who are going through this situation? Or what if you come out with a new perspective? Maybe, just maybe, and this may blow your mind, maybe it was always supposed to be this way. You just don't know. And in the words of the great Byron Katie, totally read her stuff. She says that when we argue with reality, we lose the argument 100% of the time. Because what you're experiencing is the reality that you are currently in. And wishing it was different will never change it for you. But I'm going to talk to you about what will change it for you. So the first step is to have acceptance for your current situation. It is what it is. Can you find peace and acceptance in that? And if possible, what if you could find a little bit of gratitude for it? So for me, with how things have gone the last few weeks, I could have absolutely spiraled into frustration and doubt and irritation and all of these emotions because I didn't have the perfect work blocks that I had set up. I didn't have all the time I wanted to prep for my launch like I thought I was going to have. I didn't get to go on the trip I wanted to go on with my mom. And so we would say, okay, it would be valid to feel all these emotions. And I did feel them for a moment. But then in reflecting, I asked myself, why did it need to happen this way? Because it did, right? And I'm not going to argue with reality. And here's the answer. It's because I coach moms in business who will probably never have perfect launch circumstances. Sorry to burst your bubble, mama, but this is just part of being a mom entrepreneur, right? Like as mom business owners, we work so hard to make business and family life work side by side because this is our calling. We are called to be present mothers to our families. And we are also called to serve in the world. And we're not choosing between the two. And so I want to be that coach for you who deeply understands what it is like to have the babysitter call off and to know how to troubleshoot taking care of the kids and meeting work responsibilities and doing all of the things under imperfect circumstances. Now, with my own circumstances, I could have wallowed in, oh, poor me is not like having the experience she wants to have. Or what I chose to do was to see this as an opportunity. And I'm going to always encourage you to look for the silver lining in whatever it is that you're experiencing and see how you can flip it, because that is going to make you so much stronger in all of the ways. And that's what I'm going for. And so I'm turning this into an opportunity, and I am building out an entire mom life specific launch process that is going to live inside Expand Mentoring Membership. This has honestly been a long time coming. And now I'm like, oh, I have more data. I have more experience to add to this process, because I want you to feel like no matter your circumstances, you can have a fruitful launch that you feel truly proud of. And there's already modules inside of Expand on how to work when the kids are home, like say the kids need to stay home, like they're sick, or maybe you just have little kids at home like I did when I was first building my business. And there's also modules on how to deal with unforeseen circumstances like we often experience in motherhood, of you think things are going to go a certain way and then they don't. And instead of getting off track with your business, I teach you how you can handle all of that and not lose your momentum. I create this content for you not because I am a magical unicorn with a live-in nanny and a perfect immune system and nothing ever goes wrong with me. We just know that's not my reality. And honestly, I'm grateful it's not, because it would make it harder for me to be empathetic with my clients if I didn't know what they're experiencing firsthand. I am honored to lead the way. I am honored to experience these tricky circumstances just so that I can say, hey, mama, I've been there too. And here's how you're going to move through it. And it's going to be okay. I want you to know that I have been able to grow a profitable business even in the thick of motherhood with all of its challenges, and I promise that you can too. I want to always be that example for you of what is possible, even when it doesn't look picture perfect, and especially not. So doors reopen for Expand Mentoring membership on September 16th, and they close on the 30th of this month. This is my year-long group for moms in business who want to grow a business that helps them serve others while serving their family. You're going to learn what makes a business profitable, how to grow yours in less time per week while also putting your family first. I don't teach anything that I haven't personally used on my business or with my hundreds of mom clients I've served over the last 6 years. It is all mom tested and designed for you to succeed even as you're juggling it all. And then you have an entire community of other moms from all around the world backing you up, weekly group coaching calls, and daily text coaching from me inside of our own private app. You get everything that you need to feel so incredibly supported. So if you're ready to learn more, you want to prep for doors opening soon and just get excited and get ready, you're going to want to head to happierInmotherhood.com/expand-membership. I'm also going to put the link to that in the little podcast notes. So if you're listening to this right now, like on your phone, just look down where you're listening. You should see the link and you can click that, and it's going to give you all the details of what to expect when you enroll and expand. And feel free to DM me on Instagram at happierInmotherhood if you have questions. I would just love to support you and chat with you about whatever is coming up. Okay, mama, listen. Let's do what we can do to identify the if-only thinking and choose to see it as an opportunity. No arguing with reality, no comparing, no judging, just acceptance. And I promise when you do, you're going to feel so much more peace, and it's going to create this amazing momentum that will still continue to move your life and business forward even when you're facing challenges. Thank you so much for listening, for being here with me on this journey. I know I say that every week, but truly it means the world to me.